motherfucking 90s and shit, yeah, that was always the legend. You know what I'm saying? You know, cuz that's Big Uncle and shit. So shit, he come through, look out on the barbecues, the holidays, made sure everything was good around the way. Shit, he's a real stand-up guy. You know, personally myself, you know what I'm saying, I didn't know that originally. I just knew that he was the guy. So as time went on, then I started hearing about everybody else, and you know, everything was connected. My allegiance and the man I knew was, you know, ED. You know, I didn't know them personally, I just know him personally. Like I said, shit, all I could remember, he come through with the big bags for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Made holidays great around the way. So, I mean, you gotta salute a man like that. We all want to, you know, take care of our families and look out for our people. You know what I'm saying? So, shit, no doubt. No doubt. He did it the right way. He stayed under the radar, you know what I'm saying? Not in everybody's face. His name is more of a name than it is a face. You know what I'm saying? And that's the 100 way right there.
Poppy. Terry the Mitches, Derek Meeks, and a few of them, but them was the guy. Edrick, ED. That was my man. That was my man. Because they used to have big sacks of 50s. That's all they had was 50s. And they come from ED. They ran all that. They had all that. They was like really the first ones around. They really just selling big 50 bowlers.
Before it was T and Meech, it was ED. They worked for ED. Right here, where these nice houses is, right here. This used to be a community center. This was a vacant lot, playground. So this is where everybody used to be. That building over there used to be Carter's store on 16th Street. So right here was the hub of everything. And we one block past Southwest. So you had Southwest on one side of the street, we had E-Course on the other side of the street.
He was the man. He dressed fresh. He go around in nice cars. He had all, you know, he had a lot of the women all on him and all that. And then he born and raised. I mean, he raised the 50 boys. He made them what they was. You know what I'm saying? Them boys came out strong. They was loyal, dedicated to whoever they was messing with. I mean, it was a good time.
Oh yeah, a little story, man, about ED. Me and Ray, the other CEO of 100 Fam, we've been running together since we were like 10, 11, so he always bragged on Unc and shit. I ain't really know him, so bro always bragged, like, I'm telling you, my uncle's a man, he heavy. So we finally, one summer, go over there about a year or two later, about 13, 12. We go to this nigga's house, man, my first introduction, we ain't even there 30 minutes. He just took us in the basement, got two big ass bowls full of powder. I'm a young nigga, I ain't really knowing what it was at the time, but now, looking back on it, that shit was about 2, 3 keys, man. So he was heavy, he a real legend, man. ED was a motherfucker, he was heavy. That was in the early 90s.
This part up here, yeah, this where a lot of stuff went on, right here. They got into on Thursday and all that shit up and all that shit happened right here. We've been hanging up here for the longest. This was the spot. Everybody came up here on Thursdays, 50 boys, us, and now he started the 50 boys. He made them. ED was the man. Yeah, ED was the boss. He was one of the bosses of bosses.
And all the young motherfuckers in the hood knew who was getting money. You know what I'm saying? You had your neighborhood hustle. See, I met ED in, I think it was 81. I was about 9 years old. My mama used to be, you know, crackhead. She used to get high. She used to work in the community. You know what I'm saying? It was what it was. ED used to serve her, but ED was more than the person that used to serve my mama. He was like the neighborhood, you know, man, that guy. You know, I came into the game when I was about 9 or 10. I was on the block up here on my bike, trying to get it in, you know, like everybody else. You know, at the time, I think Meech was, when I was about 10 or 11, I think Meech was 16, 17. T was around that age, give or take a year. And they was runners for ED, you know.
Man, I felt like it was a pleasure, you know what I'm saying, to meet a real motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? It ain't too many real motherfuckers you meet, but
That nigga one of them, you know what I mean? There's only so many people you can meet, you know what I'm saying, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Blade Icewood, Tony Valentine, like just different OGs. But he one of the OGs that I was able to meet at one time and point, and it happened, you know what I'm saying? So I congratulate that man, you know what I'm saying? He's been a real nigga and sticking to it.
What up, though, family? EG started this shit right here on this motherfucking quarter, man, all day in that motherfucking quarter. Started at 50 boys. And it over. Passing Salier. Get ready. Get jiggy with it. In that motherfucking order. If it ain't in that order, it's wrong. You know, like I said, you had your corner store, black owned. Everything in this bitch is black owned. Now this the house that they used to post up at. Derek Meeks. Derek Meeks. Meech damn near 8 ball for $50. So that's where they got the name the 50 Boys. Niggas was working for him. T and Meech was working for him. So they told him, look, the 50s was so big, niggas just start calling them the 50s. You know, when they went through some trials and tribulations, motherfuckers went to jail, came home, motherfuckers changed their life around and doing better, you know, pillars of community, you know. Yeah, I was there. You know, I was there.
Me and Meech, you know, like as far as 50 Boys and my little crew, we got, you know, we did a lot of stuff talking together to mellow out a lot of shit out of our crew or whatever. Cause we all got to get shit from DD. We working for the same man.
Right. You gotta think about it, when you have young men and you have older men in whatever situation. If you have a older man who's a carpenter and he grooming a younger man to be a carpenter. In this game, you know, the way they dressed, the way they acted, the way they did business was all, they were groomed. They were groomed to do that.
Saying that ain't the biggest nigga.
You young, you wearing silk suits and jewelry and minks and shit as a teenager. Old heads taught you to do that, man. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers just didn't. That wasn't a fad. You know? You got to be groomed into this game, man, by motherfuckers before you. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers teach you the game. Old heads teach you the game. Nowadays, these young motherfuckers just come out the gate thinking they got all the answers. They know everything. They on songs, rapping about weights and measurements. They ain't never even seen no motherfucker.
No, but he,
yeah, we working for the same man.
just had his own crew.
Yeah, same man, but we had different crews. We had a little problem with them, but then after things got a little bit going on and on, we all got cool.
It's Trap 100 fam, it's the Mafia, man. As far as the movement and the BMF thing, it's much love, much respect. All shout outs to my godfather. He put on heavy. I remember as kids, you know what I'm saying, before I knew what the game was, niggas was doing that. Niggas been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Meech and T called my godfather Pop. So what that tell you, man? It's real, man. Meech will tell you where you think that arrogant boss swag come from, nigga. You know? It's true to say it, but R Mob and Meek and T got the same teacher, my nigga. One of them for sure.
First time I met Meech, it wasn't right here, it was a little earlier than that. It was on 14th Street. Okay, this is 14th Street, but before they built all this right here, 14th Street went all the way through. And to Visca. And there was a house that him and T used to have. It was ED house too. And that's where I actually met Meech.
In the beginning, before the world even knew who Big Meech and Southwest T, they had a best friend named D Meeks. They all were under the tutelage of EdrickBoyd, ED. In today's interview, we're going to have a sit down with D Meeks as he reflects on growing up with Demetrius Flannery and Southwest T and being under the tutelage of ED. He reflects on getting in the game, the trials and tribulations of being in the game, and also the wars that took place during this era. Thank you for tuning in to part 3 of the ED 50 Boys documentary.
What up, though? This your boy DOC, and we got a very special guest
on the platform today. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and where you're from.
My name is Big Meech. I'm from Southwest Detroit. I'm from the Hole.
Cool. Well, I greatly appreciate, the opportunity for you coming on the platform today. Definitely want to speak on, ED and the whole 50 Boys era. So I want to start off by asking you, how would you describe your upbringing as a child growing up in that particular area?
Well, my upbringing was kind of like mixed, because I kind of, had a two-family household, but where I lived at, it was kind of hard. You had to really be able to defend yourself from where I'm from.
And are you originally from that Southwest East Coast area?
I'm from Southwest Detroit. I'm from the whole part. I live around the block from Demetrius and Terry.
So were you around there before ED started hustling in that area?
Yeah, I was around. I've been around Southwest Detroit since I was about 2 years old.
How old were you when you first started, playing in the street game and getting involved in the street life?
Well, I started in the street life when I was about 17. I started off selling bundles of heroin, which didn't go too well at the time. So I started selling dime rocks of cocaine.
Okay. And when you say it didn't go too well, what type of experiences, what happened that would make you say it didn't go too well?
Because, I was fresh in the game. I was young. I didn't know the game. So, when you first start dealing with heroin, we have all type of people trying to tell you different stuff. So a couple of times I got some bad, stuff. So that's what I meant by it went bad. But other than that, it was all right.
Leading up to you getting in the streets, was there a particular reason why you even started getting in the streets, to try to get money? Was it things that was going on at home, or just you was trying to get fresh? What led you to getting into the streets and wanting to, get money that way? Okay,
I'm going to tell you the story. The story is, when I was growing up, I had two best friends. Well, really one. Demetrius was my best friend. Demetrius and them was kind of not well off. So I was hanging with them all the time. So I would do stuff we would go places. If I had money, they had money, so we split money. So Demetrius and them disappeared for a while because, it was kind of tight for them. So when I finally caught back up with them, they had finally started getting on. So that's how I got on by them being my friends. It was just like a natural possession to join up with them.
So around what years was this, would you say?
We started selling drugs in 86.
80s. And at this particular time, were you guys already considered or called the 50 Boys?
Now, when we first started, we were just three local guys trying to make our niche in the world, and we wasn't called nothing. We didn't start getting called the 50 Boys till we really took off.
So when around what year would you say that you met ED?
I met ED in 85.
And how would you describe that, the first experience, if you had to paint a picture for people that's listening?
When I first met ED, he was a different type of guy because, he was from New York at the time, or he had been to New York. So when I first met him, he had on a leather coat, he had on a rope with diamonds on it, and I hadn't seen nothing like that. So I was man, kind of wow, who is this guy? He carried himself different. He was like a different breed of person, man. It's just different.
Right. What would you consider to be some of your most memorable moments during that era dealing with ED? Could you say it's any type of game that he possibly have taught you, T and Meech, during the era that you guys took on during, your time in the game?
Yeah, Edrick taught everybody. Edrick is the man. Edrick was the one who Edrick is a silent person, but he's the man. He was always silent, but he was the one that kept all of us supplied. So when when we first met him, he showed us what it's like to be hustlers. We wasn't no hustlers or nothing. He took us straight from the corner and took us into the game.
And can you break that down a little bit more?
Well, when we first met Edrick, he had a crew. He had a crew from E-Course. The crew from E-Course wasn't really doing what they were supposed to do. He met us. We three different guys. We from the whole. We all had the same heart. So once he put that bag in our hand, we took off. So when we took off, it was either you be with us, you ride with us, or you don't.
So ultimately, in hindsight, looking back at that era, how would you say that ED actually impacted your life?
Well, ED has a great influence on my life, because I was already dressing but he showed me how to dress more
like older, you know, we was getting the gators and lizards and all that, taking us to the concerts, taking us out to eat. Every Sunday we had like a structured family. Every Sunday we would go out and eat. Or every concert we would go to the concerts together. We were just one big family, man. That's all, you know, we all had the same heart.
And was that family, that was the type of things that he would preach, or that camaraderie between you guys? It was very important to have like a family structure. That was something that was preached often.
Yeah, well, you know, he didn't really have to preach it. You know, if you lead by example and somebody's following you, you see they leading with the right example, you'll follow them. So every time he made a move and it looked like it was good, we just went with him. And it seemed like every time he took a move, we was winning.
What would you consider some of your most memorable moments with T and Meech back during that time?
Ah, man, you got so many. The Fresh, we went to all the Fresh. We met, we had a hotel room with Flavor Flav, Public Enemy. Man, we went to Vegas. Man, just the money, man. Every weekend, we was at every concert that came. We was at every concert that came to the city. We knew all the rappers. We knew all the basketball players. We was hanging with stars, man. We were young black stars in our neighborhood.
And a lot of times, you know, individuals, you know, and I like to always ask these questions for people that's watching, just in case of like they may be in the game, wanting to be in the game, or even get out of the game. You know, a lot of times individuals sometimes quote unquote glorify the street game. What were some of the bad experiences that you guys went through during that time?
Man, we had a hit on us for 2 years. We had to literally, like, if you come out the house, you had to have a gun. If you go to the restaurant, you had to have a gun. Everywhere we went, if I went to the garbage can, I had to have a gun. I have been shot at. I have had somebody try to kill me. If people the Meechers and them have been shot 3 or 4 times. I mean, this game, the game is good as long as the money coming, but don't nobody never see that devil side of this game.
And that hit that you're talking about, like, how did that even come to that part to have a hit on y'all for 2 years?
Ah, man, this is a long story, but we were, let me get my words careful. It was 2 other street gangs out here. We from South Detroit. We came from one city and took over 3 cities, Southwest Detroit, Rouge, and Ecorse. Everybody wasn't happy about that. So when we tried to move in that territory, we had people coming in at us. So we had to defend ourselves every day.
And that's basically over the territory of, you know, you guys moving in making money is what started it, and that just automatically went straight to having a hit on you to try to get y'all up out of there.
I mean, we had some problems, and I guess somehow somebody settled them, and I guess, you know how that goes with the territory, man. I don't know, man. It was just like we was at a war. We were just at war.
Right. When you first heard that, you know, it was a project that's being curated around ED, you know, what was your first thoughts?
Well, my first thoughts was I seen another special on it, and I seen 50 Cent came on. He was talking about doing a BMF story, and I was thinking to myself, well, how they gonna do a BMF story if you don't come from the beginning? And if you come from the beginning, you got to come to the ordinance of this story, which is ED. Because if it wasn't for ED or Edrick, it wouldn't be no Big Meech or no Southwest T. Because they didn't know how to sell no drugs. We didn't know how to put no drugs in no bags. We didn't know how to weigh nothing. He taught us everything from the ground up.
And it's crazy that you say that, because that was a question I was going to ask you, you know, about, you know, 50 Cent doing this. You know, what was your thoughts? So you know, you pretty much answered that.
Fuck 50 Cent.
You say fuck him?
No, I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, if he ain't gonna tell this story right, yeah, fuck him. If he think he's gonna come to Atlanta and, you know, try to build a story, if he do this story, he better come to the Hole. That's where he better come. He better come get permission from the Hole riders first, then do this movie.
A lot of people, and you know, I know you spoke on the situation as far as the, you know, having the hit on you and stuff like that. A lot of people in the game face death or jail. Did you have any other close encounters that, you know, with those 2 particular things during this run?
I went to jail. I went to jail for a couple of years. I had 3 AMs on me, which they broke it down to like a occupied dwelling. So I went to the big house. I went to Jackson. I went to the Wall. You know, I had about 3 cases. I beat 3-4 cases because I had a good ass lawyer. My last case, They just put it on me. So yeah, you know, it's a good thing about this, 'cause I made a whole lot of money. But when the feds or the police break you down, they break you down.
Right. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's rumored, I've heard that throughout this whole run that ED, and we speaking past everything's well past the statutes of limitations. This is things that went on back in the 80s and stuff like that.
Okay.
ED never, got arrested or got caught for anything. Like, do you say that's because of him being a silent individual and things of that nature is what helped contribute him to not really getting caught up in everything?
Well, Edrick he's flashy, but he's not flashy. He's smart. He's cautious. So that part of him not never going to jail, that probably is right, because, when we was the face of ED. ED is the mind and the brain, but we the face. So that's why, we took all the dirt for him, If that's our boss and we riding together, why let your boss get caught up?
Were there any particular standout things just from that time that you ever wanted the world or people to know about the 50 Boy era and just dealing with ED?
Yeah, I want the world to know that we was great. We was the greatest to ever do it out here. And that's just all to it. We came and conquered 3 cities. We stomped through this mug, and we took over. Now, if anybody else can do that, like they said now, it'll never be nothing like this again. It'll never be nothing like the 50 Boys again.
And when Big Meech and T end up going off doing their own thing, did you go off with them at some point in time, or you end up staying back at home, or was that during the time that you end up getting arrested?
No, when Demetrius and Terry and them left, we had kind of like stopped dealing with each other. We never not stopped being family. We were still helping each other, but they was moving to Atlanta, and I stayed up here. So they went to Atlanta, and I stayed in Detroit, and I still was selling my little stuff up here. I was doing pretty good. I was doing great, actually. I made $1.2 million on the bike.
All right. And, my thing is, we just want to make sure that everybody gets a opportunity to see both sides of ED, as just a man, not just in the game, but just as a man and a human being. How would you say, just outside of the street element of it, dealing with him on a one-on-one basis, do you guys still have a relationship with each other, or how would you say he is, if you do know, like, how he is with his family and kids and nephews and other people in the community?
Well, I haven't talked to Edrick in a while, but I heard his wife had passed. Rest in peace to her. But I haven't talked to him in a while. But like I said, when we like some people fall apart, or when they don't be together, they been fell out. We all still friends. We all family. And, out of sight, out of mind. That ain't with us. We always gonna have each other back. We gonna be family till we die.
Right. And if there is one last thing that you wanted to say to put out here to the people about ED and yourself, what would that be?
I like to say ED, he's the greatest. He's the greatest to ever do it out here, and I'm probably the second best. Big up to Big Meech Southwest T, too. I love y'all.
When they first got in the game, man, they started off with my uncle, man. My uncle like a father figure to them guys. Like, Southwest T got in contact with me, you know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing he said, like ED is like a father figure to them guys, you know what I'm saying? He taught them guys a lot. He showed them guys a lot, you know what I'm saying? He used to take them guys out to eat every Sunday, you know what I'm saying? He taught them the structure of running something that's organized, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just gotta be drugs, man. It's the mental too, you know what I'm saying? I'm surprised that Doc Hicks was even able to get my uncle to even do this shit.
What up, though? This your boy DOC, and I have a very special guest on the line. If you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Chauncey, known from that part as C-Bear.
Well, I greatly appreciate the interview. And, touch on a few different things. One of the very first questions I wanted to ask you, since this whole project that we putting together right now is based around ED, I wanted to ask you, when was some of your first experiences or meeting ED?
I met ED back in the mid-'80s. He was dating this lady named Deborah, who I knew from as a family friend, and I believe they was living down in Research Park in I don't know what hospital that is down there, somewhere in that area, not far from downtown. And he introduced me to the gang, so to speak, at the time when Meech and them was kind of working under his direction, with his direction.
Did you, because I was going to ask you, did you always know he was in the game? So I guess I'll ask you, like, how do you feel like overall, not even just from the sense of the game, just as, two men, how do you feel like ED impacted your life?
I remember seeing cocaine or drugs around for the first time, and he was telling me, like, which one would you choose? There was a powdery pack and there was a wacky pack, both which was just regular cocaine. And I chose the wacky pack because it looked like it was more than the powder pack. And he said I did right because you never want to buy cocaine powdery like this because you never know what somebody has done to it. So that was like one of my first lessons in the game. From one of the old people.
Right. And basically around this same time, was this the same time that you met Meech and T? Y'all all grew to end up, having a relationship together?
I met them around 85, 86, 87 era, and started to develop a relationship, a friendship with them around that time. As they grew bigger, I lined myself more with them because there's not many people that I want to be like. But when I first seen Meech come through the neighborhood on the moped with the big gold rope and the velour feeder tracksuit, and it sparked the interest in me. Like, damn, this is the life I want for myself.
Right.
So that was kind of reminiscent of me kind of jumping off the porch.
But like during that era growing up, how would you explain like your environment as a whole? Was it a lot of resources, as far as like jobs and opportunity? Was it real hard for, brothers and sisters during that time in life for you and like your family and everything?
Well, I think it was kind of universal for black people across the United States. At this particular time, Detroit was verging into its industrial superpower. To me, Detroit was what Silicon Valley is now. That was the original Silicon Valley. Chrysler, Ford, and GM being the power behind the industrial age, really taking place in that city. So I seen the city, turn into this powerhouse with young, thriving black people coming into the workplace, into business. So it was for me. It was cool in Detroit at that particular time. I mean, it was violent as it is now, but still, it was opportunity and it was jobs, especially with the big three.
Was there any type of game that you may have learned from Edie that you still apply to your life to this day? Just, in general?
Like I originally told you with the whole, even though I don't have nothing to do with that particular game anymore, but the skills that I learned from that to apply in business, he was very influential in his teachings and my learning. Exactly.
Over the years, Meech and T and a lot of other individuals as well, and yourself end up being locked up in that particular indictment. I'm not saying it's the same indictment or anything in detail, but I wanted to ask, like, for a viewer that was listening, was there ever a particular time in your mind in life where it was a certain situation that got you to the point where you wanted to make that transition? Was it a particular situation that happened, or it just had to happen over time?
What do you mean, transition to?
Like
leave the game or from the game?
From the game, leaving the game.
Oh, that happened when the indictment came. After the indictment came, we all went to prison, and so of course then there was no criminal activity taking place after that.
Okay.
And, you know, I go and do my time, I come home and start a new life.
Right. Okay. I guess the only reason why I asked that, because it's been a couple people I've interviewed before, and I know everybody's circumstances is different. You know, sometimes it be a death in the family prior to maybe going to jail, or, you know, it just, you know, it's so many different factors of different things that may make a person maybe look at what they were doing and be like, no, I want to, you know, go the opposite direction, maybe because of after having kids or something, you know, of that nature. So that's, you know, that's the reason I was asking. So since, like, say for instance, like since that time, BMF as the three letters have became a legend, not only in the hip hop world, just in the streets in general. How do you feel about the representation that BMF gets, you know, across all things in the rap game, either from former members or just, you know, in the streets, period?
Well, there's a lot of love shown to those three letters from the hip hop world, from the streets, from legends from other parts of the nation. When it made Vanity Fair, I knew then that it was something much bigger or greater than what we thought it might have been, because it was regular everyday life for us. It wasn't like, okay, this is us, we did this and we doing that. It was none of that. It was just we living our lives. It was just a life that we lived, and a lot of people just took interest in that life, into our lives. Maybe because of the camaraderie or the love or the care that we extended to one another. But for me, it was just regular life. It was just regular everyday life, waking up and trying to make a difference.
Right.
That was it.
Do you feel like since that era, do you feel like BMF has gotten exploited in any type of way?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I have a lot of things that I don't agree with. I just don't voice my opinion about it. There's a lot of things I don't agree with what people do and say. Because I look at it like this. We talking about two guys who gave their life to the game, and they both serving 30 years apiece. They have a mother, they have family, they have children, they have a sister that not benefiting from what other people are using to benefit theirs, so to speak. So the exploitation of the name and the disrespect that a lot of people, not knowing that they not purposely disrespecting. They don't, you know, they if you don't know, then you don't know. But I look at it as disrespect to scream those letters and try to profit and benefit when somebody's sitting in prison doing 30 years.
Right.
And you're not giving none of that resources or money, monetary value that you reap from that to them. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's you know, all due respect.
Right.
But to each his own. No, so I mean, I don't say anything about it. I just keep it moving and moving forward. And this is my first time ever having an interview or speaking about this ever. I have nothing bad to say about nobody whatsoever. I don't. People choose to live their life the way they want to live theirs. I live mine the way I want to live mine.
Right.
So I keep moving forward, and I look at it like that. It's not the greatest thing that's going to happen in my life. So I'm open to, you know, my life being much greater in the process in which it's going.
Right. As far as being introduced to seeing that at this particular time we are doing a project, you know, based around ED. If it was one thing, you know, besides the actual, you know, the coats hanging in the rocks thing, that you wanted to add from your eyes towards his legacy, is there any standout things that you would want to like put out there for the people, the viewers that's listening, to get to know, you know, his character as a man from your position of the statue of, you know, of who you are?
Well, I pretty much was a kid when I first met him. I was in my teenage years. I was in high school, early high school, and his whole swagger, his whole his vernacular, his whole way of doing business was very impressionable upon me. So whether it was the way he came through with his jury on, the way he did his cars, whatever, he was, you know, one fly ass nigga that I remember, you know.
Right.
So that was you know, some of the most impressionable part. But like I said, I was a kid, and as I grew older, I kind of, you know, moved into a different direction, and I didn't see him as much. I don't know if he went away himself. I'm not sure. But I just remember him being absent for a long period of time from that whole thing. But yeah, he was very impressionable with the swag and with the way he moved and
And to wrap this up, if it was any last words that you wanted to put out there for the people, you know, as far as a lot of times I like to ask individuals that I know that come from a real life and background, because I know on my channel we do attract not everybody, but a certain type of demographic of individuals that come in, and some people may be in limbo or their life of making certain decisions. Is there any type of guidance or game that you would give to individuals that's thinking about possibly getting in the streets, or they may be in a time in their life where they want to transition and leave? Is there any type of game or advice that you would give them?
Oh yeah, don't go down that road. It's not worth it. Don't go down the road. But like I said, to each his own. Sometimes you have to learn by experience.
Yeah.
And so if they are, you know, choosing that path or that direction, I would tell them to be very smart with their money. Don't go give it to the jury man. Don't go pass it out to the car man. None of that. Keep your money. Save your money, because it will save your ass.
Word. Well, I greatly appreciate your time, and, you know, just checking in real quick. I greatly appreciate it, man. At any point in time, if you ever decide that you want to come back and voice your opinion on anything, or, you know, the door is always open.
For sure, my nigga.
All right.
Stay in touch.
Alright, like, to keep it 1,000 with you, like, we ain't really in no popularity contest and no shit like that, you know what I'm saying? We love everybody, you know what I'm saying? I'm surprised that Doc Hicks was even able to get my uncle to even do this shit, you know what I'm saying? Because he be playing the background, like, he ain't the type of dude that run around and be like, oh, I started Meech and T off, or T and Meech off. Honestly, it was me. You know what I'm saying? For years, I tell my homeboys the shit, the situation. You know what I'm saying? But we wasn't a family that was running around bragging. You know what I'm saying? So like everybody right now, they in it for this movie that's coming out, the money side of things. You know, we ain't in it for that. Like, we ain't never ran around the city saying we BMF or no shit like that. But, you know, the truth is just the truth. You know, started Meech and T off. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I've been around a lot of cats and listen to their conversation, and I won't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I just be sitting to the side listening to their conversation. And as they talking about who started off with these guys, who first put them on, and I'm just be in my head laughing. So it just got to the point where it was like, man, it's just time for the truth to come out. So I went to Unc, you know what I'm saying? Unc said he'll do it, but he kept spinning us. And then the situation with Blue Da Vinci, when Unc did that interview with Blue, like, to be honest with you, Blue ain't did nothing to me either. Like, we ain't got nothing against him. It was just what the streets were saying. The streets were saying, you know, certain shit about Blue, like far as his situations with with him, I guess, telling, quote unquote. I ain't seen no paperwork on it. But at the end of the day, whatever Meech say, you know what I'm saying, niggas gotta move on that, because that's the boss. You know what I'm saying? That's the nigga. BMF is his shit. And by me having the respect for my uncle, I gotta have the same respect for his man. So that's why they took that interview down with Blue Da Vinci and my uncle. But, you know, far as everything else, man, we ain't in it for that. All we in it for is the truth. We ain't in it to be a part of no movie. We ain't in it to get no money out of nobody. We ain't running no scams, because everything that we telling over here is just the truth. You know what I'm saying? We just keeping it 1,000. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. But when J-Bo came down here, it was much love to him. You know what I'm saying? That's Meech man. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's affiliated with Big Meech or Southwest T,
I'ma fuck with them because I'm not in the middle of the 263 BMF quote unquote wars. You know what I'm saying? I'm from ED era. You know what I'm saying? That's who I represent. And then on top of that, you know, by T and Meech being his mans, of course I'ma fuck with both of them. You know what I'm saying? So even Tony, you know what I'm saying? You know, I've been hearing stuff about her. I don't know if it's true or not, you know what I'm saying? She a sweetheart to me, you know what I'm saying? She cool as hell, she real as hell. That situation when people see me with 50 Cent.
Southwest T, dog, and Meech Southwest T, you know how it go. We out here, we enjoying ourselves. Real shit.
You know what I'm saying? She the one that got me next to 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying? So salute to Tony too. Southwest T, you know what I'm saying? He pop at me every now and again. He told me, you know, when his girl comes to the city to look out for her, that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not involved, or neither is 100 fam or my uncle. We not involved in the 263 BMF thing. I call our situation the real original side of things when the place was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? The beginning is always beautiful. You can't have no ending without a beginning. And it just so helps that the beginning is my uncle. You know what I'm saying? But we not speaking on what he gave them. That's what he gonna speak on. I'm speaking on what I represent and who I looked up to. And that's my uncle. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all them guys. But at the beginning of the day, you gotta speak on what's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Without the truth, then it's gonna be fake. Then they come out here and have some fake stories. The world won't know the truth. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, when they first got in the game, man, they started off with my uncle, man. My uncle like a father figure to them guys. Like, you know, Southwest T got in contact with me, you know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing he said, you know, like ED is like a father figure to them guys, you know what I'm saying? He taught them guys a lot. He showed them guys a lot, you know what I'm saying? He used to take them guys out to eat every Sunday, you know what I'm saying? He taught them the structure of running something that's organized. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just gotta be drugs, man. It's the mental too. You know what I'm saying? But of course, yeah, back in them times, man, them boys was getting to it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all them guys, you know. But far as anything else, man, that's all that we trying to represent. We not in it to dislike nobody or even like nobody. Because at the end of the day, man, it's about Big Meech and Southwest T, man. And they from Detroit, they from Southwest Detroit, man. And all we doing is trying to represent the real and give the world the true story. You know what I'm saying? If y'all notice all them other documentaries and shit, they the same documentaries that's just getting told in a different way. Even my man Dex, you know what I'm saying, Sauce Money, you know what I'm saying, that's a real guy. He been knowing my family, you know what I'm saying, since I was a kid, you know what I'm saying. Salute to Sauce Money. Salute to the Conspiracy, his book, whatever the name is, Conspiracy, the Blueprint to Conspiracy, you know what I'm saying? I respect everything he's doing because he got paperwork behind it, you know what I'm saying? But just because he got paperwork behind it, the people that I have ran across, that don't mean I dislike them, because we wasn't involved in the shit that went on in California, Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, Texas, you know, wherever they was moving at, that wasn't our chapter. You know what I'm saying? It's like a book. We the beginning of the book. You know what I'm saying? And to get to the end of a book, you have to understand the beginning. So the beginning is just us. So that's what we standing on. We just standing on what this shit is. My uncle gave them the name 50 Boys. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. When y'all seen Dex or Sosa over at that house, standing in front of that house, that's my grandmother's house, man. That's the house they used to come to meet my uncle. You know what I'm saying? My uncle didn't live there, though. So in this documentary, y'all gonna realize and understand who house that really was, why they was going to that house, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But my uncle didn't live there. That was somewhere where my auntie, my mother, my grandma, my cousins, uncles, you know what I'm saying? That was somewhere that we chilled. My uncle just stashed that bag over there during that time. So you never had that work land where you had your head at. So he never had all his work at the place that he was at, which is Soliet. So he had that bag over my grandmother's house. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at the details of it and look at how smart he was, he kept it around, he kept it in a place where it's always somebody there. You know what I'm saying? My grandma's house was like the party house back in the 80s, early 90s, and shit like that. So all these things, like Dex Sosa, like Sosa said, all the shit that dude, when I say dude, I'm speaking upon Meech and T. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff they learned, they had to learn some shit from the beginning too to take that shit with them. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the role model and the person that I grew up admiring, it was ED. You know what I'm saying? That was the nigga that taught me a lot of things, how to think out here, how to move out here, how to build out here, how to you know, have some type of common sense about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, we just running the record label, and it's doing quite well for us. You know, we got a lot more things to do, but all them type of things is what I learned from my uncle. So we ain't here to get no brownie points off of Big Meech or Southwest T, but I'm letting y'all know, man, we love them guys. Them guys mean a lot to our family, and I'm sure we mean a lot to them. And you know, everything 100.
What up, though? This your boy DOC, and I got a very, very special guest on the platform today. If you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself and where you from.
This is Edrick Doc, and people might know me as ED from Southwest Detroit, New York, Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy.
Word. Well, I greatly appreciate, you know, having you on the platform today. I know we got a lot to discuss. You know, it's been a lot of things that's been coming out on the platform as of recently, you know, dealing with the BMF and the 50 Boys and everything. I do want to start off by asking you, you know, after being in the background for so many years, you know, what made you want to come out and talk now?
Well, Doc, you know, I was hearing a whole lot of things that I didn't like. It was things that I wanted to straighten out and make clear. It was stuff that it was made up. I believe they had good intentions, but I'd rather be on that real tip. So you're going to hear from the horse's mouth. This is the truth, no lies, from where my point of view or what happened.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess we could go ahead and start back at the very beginning. So where were you actually born at?
Okay, let me say this first and foremost, Doc. What we talking about, this is 35 years ago, okay? I was born in Detroit. My mother moved us to New York, Brooklyn, when I was 3. So my sister was maybe 4 or 5. She thought moving us there would get me and my sister, I guess, away from this type of life. Because it started off with my father, my grandfather, actually. They called him Flap, and he was a big number holder out there in Southwest Detroit. He had the biggest book out there, you know. So he was known, the Boyz was known for that. And my father, he was a professional boxer, but he also was in that game. And he died playing Russian roulette. Yeah, that's crazy. He died playing Russian roulette. He was a fierce dude, man. I mean, nobody fucked with him when it came to ED, because that's when originally ED came from. His name was Edgar Dallas. Then, you know, the name just got passed on to me. I also had an uncle, which was my father's brother, Eric. He was also in their life as well. He got killed as well in the game over there on Dexter and Claremont, found in an apartment building. I also had a cousin, Ronnie Harris. He was a professional boxer. He also fought in the Olympics. So everybody that, you know my family is from back then, they know what I'm saying is real. I was brought up with, you know, around that. It was in my blood. But, you know, when my mother moved us to New York, after my father died playing Russian roulette, she thought, I guess it would be a different life for me and my sister. As it turned out, it wasn't. I was moved there, and I caught my first case when I was 10 years old on the rails tagging, you know, for my set. I grew up and was raised in the game from the New York point of view from this dude named Caesar. He was a Puerto Rican dude, you know. Where I lived at, it was Puerto Ricans, you know, blacks and Jamaicans. And Caesar, he was big time back then. And I grew up watching him and all that. And he put me down as I was on on the roofs watching. You know, we had pigeon coops up there. I took care of those for him and being a watch out as far as on the corner, riding my bike up and down the street. New York, every block was your playground. You know what I'm saying? We played stick ball in the middle of the street, and sewer plate was our home plate. We also played a game called Tops, where you fill bottle tops with asphalt and you shooting them from box to box. It was a life that I grew up with doing out there, and to the point Caesar took a liking to me because he seen that I was hungry and he trusted me.
So basically after a while, due to your hungerness and stuff like that, like you moved up. Like how did you, just Caesar was someone just in your neighborhood and y'all just randomly ran across each other? Like how did y'all actually meet each other?
Oh yeah, I mean, he set his shop up on my block. It was like a 3-4 block radius, and he was the man there. Anybody that was doing something, that was Caesar shit. And like I said, I was in his face every day, sometimes skipping school to be in his face. So that's how that turned out. And he took me under his wing. You know, I went, like I said, being rooftop corner watches, a bag man, a higher degree in his organization.
Right. Right. And this was basically still like in your early teenage years. So when...
Yes. I started off fucking with Caesar and that life. I was young, man. Like I said, I was like 8, 9 years old. When you in that game back then, man, you had babies, man. You know what I'm saying? They recruited babies, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was alive, and I always was considered a New Yorker because I wasn't considered no outsider. Because when I went there, I was 3 years old. Everybody, you know, just knew I was born there. I had that accent. I talked like that. So, you know, I wasn't considered outsider. People, you know, they liked me. I was just taken care of well.
Right, right. So was there a particular situation or anything that made you move back to Detroit?
Well, I believe it was a few things. My mother saw what moving there, that really, it didn't help the situation none. So I figured, I think she figured, you know, she might as well just go back home where the majority of our family was. We had family in New York, but they was basically on Long Island, her father, and they was basically on Long Island. And also I think that contributed to it. My sister was getting into things that my mother didn't want. I would have to go find her. She was running away and all that. And I would have to go. I always knew where she was at. Because like I said, the streets was behind me. I knew where to go. And if I didn't, you know, I went to my man Caesar and he would find her for me. But I believe that contributed to it as well. You know, I'm not downing what my sister did, but it's just that life of New York. My mother wanted us, she kept us dressed. I mean, we didn't want for nothing. I really didn't have to do what I was doing, but you young and you see that going on, man, you want a taste. You can't help to get that taste, and then you gonna get either jumped in, or you gonna get fucked with every day. So you had to make that choice as well.
Right. Right. Yeah. So basically it became, besides just your sister, your mom ended up being able to see kind of what you were doing.
Yes, of course. Yeah, she was seeing what I was doing because, like I said, I started skip school, and when I caught that rail case, she sat me down. You know, she did that talk, but I didn't listen. My mind was on something else. She just, after that, 5, 6 years after that, she came with that moving back to home. I'm not gonna say home, moving back to Detroit, because actually when we did move back, I still kept in touch with, you know, my homies back then and whatever. And I still, like I said, we had family, and my excuse to go back was to visit the family we had there.
Right, right. So leading up to them last couple of years before coming back to Detroit, were you already like kind of connecting the dots back before you even came home to continue in the game, or you didn't want, or when you came home, you wanted to start fresh? Okay, well, I didn't, when I left, doing that thing in Detroit wasn't on my mind, you know what I'm saying? Because I was thinking, man, you know, I'm going to say this. I was like, yeah, okay, well, we'll go back, but I'm coming back. I'm going back to New York. I'm not staying. I didn't want to make the transition, but, you know, I'm young. I had to do what I listened to my mother because I respected my mother because she raised us as a single mother, and she did a damn good job. Like I said, you know, she kept us fresh, kept us, we was in
We had all the newest fashions and all that. You know, no problem with eating, nothing like that. I had to respect a woman like that.
Right. That's dope. I'm glad she did what she had to do, and it was just you and your sister.
Yeah, it was me and my sister Yasmin. I have actually another sister, Juanita. She's my stepsister, but she wasn't in New York with her. She's always stayed in Detroit.
So basically, when you moved back to Detroit, you were staying on the west side?
No, actually, when we moved back, the first time we moved back from New York, my mother bought a house on Liddesdale. Okay, so we stayed there. That's where we stayed at, on Liddesdale, and I didn't go to Southwestern. I went to E-Course because like she thought that was a better school for me to go to. She always looking out for me as far as that education side and wanted the best for me. So she thought E-Course was a better school than Southwest Detroit, that I could, it was not more I don't know. She thought it was a better school for me to go to. So I lived on Liddesdale, but I went to E-Course High. My grandparents still stayed on Bassett and Salliette. So I would walk down Salliette every day going to school, stopping by there, whatever. But yeah, I stayed on Liddesdale. And after that, a couple of years, my mother, she got a real nice job. And she bought a house on Oakman and Timon, those big houses over there by Dearborn. And but we're right across from, like where all the Arabs and shit stay at. Okay, we had a nice house over there. So, and I was still going to E-Course, of course, because I was driving. She had a car. As soon as I turned 16, whatever, right, and I was able to get a permit, I'm driving. So I was driving at 14, 15, 16. I was driving. We stayed over there, and I still went to E-Course.
So from that transition of going to E-Course, did you start off, did you get back connected to the game, or was it like a certain situation that made you get back into it?
Okay, well, I didn't hang in E-Course. Actually, my family had a car wash on Joy Road in Quincy, okay, on the west side. So I worked and hung out up there. And I always used to run into this dude. I don't want to say his name. I ran into this dude, and I would always say, man, I seen he was in the game and all that, man. Come on, put me down, man. Put me down, put me down. Eventually, I got introduced to that life when I was in high school from him. And this is a part of when I was with Bear. Yeah, he had a brother named Huggy Bear, and it was Bear. Bear was not the younger brother, but he was under Huggy. And I was in his set. And that's when you see motherfuckers on the corner with the army fatigue, and from the boots all the way up to the hat and all that. We used to have this building on Lawton, okay? And we had the whole building. It was like a 4-story building. We had the whole building. I used to work in the building, Back then, it was about you sticking it through the hole, and they give you your money, and you was barricaded in them motherfuckers. So once you in there for your duration, how long you gonna be in there till somebody replace you. So me and my boy, we was in there. So we dealing with this. I mean, it was a situation that I really didn't like. You staying in there sometimes 24 hours, sometimes more than that. You dealing with rats, roaches. I mean, it was a condemned building, and we took it over. That's where we were at. So did that throughout that situation dealing with Bear, was that the progression to end up dealing with kind of YBI or Sneed from YBI? Okay, let me get into that like this. I kept going at Bear and saying, look, man, we need to do this shit out there, Southwest Detroit, E-Course Ridge, man. And they was like, where? What the fuck is that? They wasn't with it. They didn't think it was. I said, man, I'm telling you, man, it's for the opening, man. It's wide open, man. You can just take that bitch, okay? So, but they wasn't going for it. I was groomed from Caesar on back from New York, from my blood, from my people, because we were all bosses. We were never followers. My aim is to be a boss. Okay, I just took off, did my thing. Oh, so you just went ahead, even though they wasn't down with it. You went over there to the Southwest East Coast Road by yourself and got it going. Yes, I did. And the transaction, it wasn't as simple as you may think. Once I went and they seen what was happening, he wanted to get involved. I took a lot of people that I had that was was, you know, down with me. They went with me and all that, and he didn't like it. And it was a incident that we was in a hotel out there. Me and this cat named Jan, man. Jan, he stayed on Bassett, and we was in there doing our thing, you know, whatever. It was like a spot for us, but that's where we, you know, did our thing and prepared for it to go out or whatever. Anyway, but Bear showed up to the hotel with a couple of guys to wreck me, to take the shit over. But did he know the guys that he brought out there to wreck me? Because actually he didn't tell them who he was coming to get at until they got there and they seen it that it was me. And they said, "Oh no, man, this ED, you know, what's up, man? We're not gonna do this." So it was just end up me and Bear. We got at it. So, but after that, he seen that he couldn't do nothing about it. And, you know, that I had so much respect out there that he couldn't do nothing about it. And it got left just like that. You know, that's when I was introduced to Sneed from a cousin member. You know, she was fucking with Sneed. She introduced me to him. Me and him clicked right off the bat. We clicked right off the bat because he was impressed how I came to him in a week's time. He was like, damn, he was impressed with it. But that went on with me and Sneed for a minute. Sneed got killed. You know, like I'm like you young guys and women that's listening, listen to what I keep mentioning. Got killed, whatever. Because you're going to end up somebody around you or you're going to end up with a toe tag. That's when I moved on messing with Herbie Daniels and Raymond Peoples. So.
So basically, to clear it up, wherever there was any confusion out there, you never did mess with Butch.
No, I did not. We frequent the same sets, but I never fucked with Butch. You know. Like I said, I first within that clique, I wasn't no YBI. I was affiliated with him, but I wasn't one. Okay, I never fucked with Butch. Okay, like I said, the ones I fucked with was Sneed, okay, Raymond, and Herbie.
Yeah, and definitely did like you just said, constantly bringing up getting killed and death and stuff like that. 'Cause especially during that time, it was a very dangerous time during Detroit during that time.
You fear you not. I didn't mean say fear, but I'm telling you, anybody that tell you that it's a smooth sailing, or you know, you gonna have a beef, man, with somebody rival gangs, rival sets, or motherfuckers that's just jealous of you. Whatever. I didn't have that problem making that transition Southwest Detroit because I was so well respected. Everybody knew me. Everybody knew my family. But I'm gonna say this, and it was rumors that I never did no time, and I never had dealings with 5-0. But that's not true at all, you know. Especially when I was on the West Side, and that, man, I've been wrecked so many times, man. I'm talking about beat up by the motherfucking police. I'm talking about getting raided in spots. And they took me down back then, and everybody back then gonna know what I'm talking about when I say this. The Room of Doom, okay? That was narcotics down at 1300 Bobby in the basement. That's where you went. And when you go there, your ass getting fucked up. Point blank. You getting your ass, you ain't going to no cell for at least 10 hours. You and that motherfucker getting your ass whooped. That's, you know, what happened. We had this young guy that was on the set with us, man, and he had long hair. Them motherfuckers in here cutting his hair with scissors, man. I mean, it's some shit that you go through, man. That's, I mean, you look back, man, I'm so glad that it didn't go far further than I seen it go with other people.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it's another thing, like I said, people who said that I didn't get dealt with the police, but I'm gonna tell you another incident. I think I was on like Deacon and Busy Girl, or Annabelle and Busy Girl 1, and I was in my Jeep, and my wife and her sister was following me to her mother's house on Ethel. So I got pulled over. This was when Popeye and them was out there and all that. They pulled me over. So they didn't know that my family was behind me. So my wife, she pulled over as well, like maybe 2-3 cars down just to watch, right? So, you know, they came to the car, did their little thing, whatever. You know, back then, they don't come to the car asking for no fucking license and all that. They you know what I'm saying? They don't do that. fuck, they don't care if you got no license or whatever you driving. They first where the shit at? You got something in the car? And I say, man, come on. I ain't got shit, you know what I mean? Nothing. You know, I got a couple hours in my pocket. Well, get out the car. Okay. So first thing I did when I got out was I yelled to my wife. I said, y'all know I ain't got shit on me, right? So he jumped in my face. He said, if you don't get rid of them motherfuckers, I'm taking you to jail. So I told him, man, y'all leave, okay? So they left, right? But they still took me to jail. But you know what? They took me to 3-4 different precincts so nobody could find me for at least 5 days.
Damn.
They took me, they started off, I think I was that precinct, I don't know if it was on Schaefer and Grand River. I started off there. Now first I was at Fort Greene. Then I went from Schaefer and Grand River. And I don't know, it was a couple more that they moved me to, but it was 4 different precincts because I was kind of, out of it because they was kicking my ass everywhere I went. At Fort Greene, they kept me there. They kicked my ass. But like I said, you gonna deal with that type of shit, man. Ain't nobody gonna tell me when in the game ain't shit happened to them prior, no beefs, no wrecks, or nothing like that. You gonna have dealings with all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know?
So even with all the respect and everything that you had out there, I'm pretty sure like conversations and whatnot, having like some of the best work and everything going over there was an easy transition to take over. Did you deal with that any over there, like jealousy in that area after you set up shop over there?
We talking about Southwest Detroit?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it was people that was jealous, and all that, and people didn't like me, but like I was type of dude, and I learned this from way back from Caesar. He took care of his own, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about family. I paid a lot of people's bills. I looked out for motherfuckers, people that was losing their car, I made sure they kept their car, their homes, all that. I fed a lot of motherfuckers too, so. I was only respected by the street. I respected by the people out there.
Right.
So, it wasn't much as far as it said, they couldn't do nothing about that because I was well respected. it didn't matter if I came from the west side of New York and then came out there. But it was just not just Southwest Detroit. Okay. My portfolio was very big. Okay. I dealt with people from all over.
Right. Yeah. So something that kept coming up in some of the videos that we were doing, of course, Bassiette, one of the houses over there, they said like it was like a meeting house or something like that where they come over there and cook and everything, but no one knew the stuff was over there. It's like, was that true?
That was Ethel. That was my mother-in-law's house.
Oh, okay.
But that, yeah, okay. I was over there a lot, like I said, because my mother-in-law used to cook all the time, and everybody used to come there and eat. Little that they know, things was popping from there. But not only that, it's like 5, 6, 7 different places out there that I hung. I never stayed in one spot too long.
Right, yeah. You basically, like you said, from the game that you learned from Caesar, you kind of stayed low, stayed to the back. That's
what I'm saying. With Caesar, I think that's what I liked about him. Everybody, they knew of him. He was so like in the shadows and shit. When he came around, it was always a block club party. It was always something going on. Because back then, like I said, the streets was our playground. The swimming pool was the damn fire hydrant. We, open a can, aluminum can on both sides, and that's how we were shooting water with the fire hydrants, man. Fire department would have to come shut us down after 5, 6 hours. They let us go for 5, 6 hours or whatever. But that was our swimming pool. That's what the playground, you might as well call it, we had the concrete playground.
Right. So how long was the transition of going out there setting up shop, doing your thing before Meech and T end up approaching you?
Okay, well, T didn't approach me. It was Meech. He used to be on the corner of 19th and Sally every day. Okay, his woman stayed over there, Talise. Me and her real cool. Talise was a good friend of mine. I knew the family and all that. He was messing around with Talise at the time. And Meech and my nephew, Kilo, another one that got killed in the game, okay, he was cool with Demetrius. And he would tell me, man, because every time I ride down the street or whatever, he'd see me outside, hanging outside the house. man, he would speak. He'd wave, you know, come down there. We'd talk. You know, I say, Kilo, he inside. And he said, okay, then. But Kilo said, man, oh boy, he want an intro with you, man. Well, who is he? I didn't know, because he was from the Hole. The only reason I knew his face because he hung on 19th Street every day.
Right.
So that's how I said, so you know what? Bring him to the house. Tell him to come to the house the next day. So he came to the house the next day. And I liked the way he was talking. I tell from the rip, he was hungry. He was hungry. I told him, I was talking to him and I was saying the right shit to him. And he was saying the right shit back to me. So eventually, you know, he became my Lou. One of my Lou's, actually, you know what I'm saying? After a minute, he brought Terry and Demetrius in. I'm sorry, Terry and Derek in. And that's, you know, how that happened.
And this is around Big Meech around that time. He's around 15, 16 around this time.
Exactly, yeah. He was around 15, 16 at that time. Because, yeah, exactly. He was around 15, 16. And you got to have a gimmick, man, if you want to make some money in this game. I'm going to say that. So I kind of, you know, went a little bit too much. But let me go back and I'm going to start on this. Like I said, Meech brought Terry and Derek into the game. And that's such when it became 50 Boys. And the reason they were called 50 Boys, I had some shit that was humongous that nobody could, you know, compete with. They couldn't fuck with it. And I was the first motherfucker that brought that 2 for 1 out there. Okay, motherfuckers that were 2 for 1. Damn, what the fuck is this? Kmart, Kroger's, and Farmer Jack? Motherfuckers in 2 for 1? That's crazy. You know, there ain't motherfuckers that couldn't afford and they couldn't do that out there.
Right. But it was that shit though.
Exactly. It was that, and they couldn't touch it. And that's why that was such a successful thing for them. But don't get it twisted. It was more besides them, like I said. But I had a portfolio. I had other people, you know, that I was dealing with out there. And if in that area, West Side, you know, and a few people on the East Side, it wasn't just them. But I took a liking to them, and I brought a lot of attention to them. You know, I spent a lot of time with them. Actually, every Sunday, you know, I told them they would have to give me 4 hours at a time. We went to dinner, and after dinner, we went to Northland. When we went to dinner, they'd tell me about if they got any. We would talk. We would talk like a family do at the dinner table on Sunday.
Right.
And we did not miss a Sunday without doing that. And I'm going to say this too. From when Kilo introduced me to him, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he didn't know nothing. I mean, I'm talking about he was green. He was green as a watermelon, you know what I'm saying? He was green. But you know what? He took on fast. And like I said, I spent a lot of time with him. I groomed him to be a boss. Because I'm going to tell you, like I said, I don't want to be never wanted to be a follower. I always wanted to be that leader. Because the leader, the one, you know, get paid.
Right. I
groomed him to do that. But, you know, like I said, he did not know nothing as far as that game, like what we were doing. He learned quick. He listened. And he was hungry. So I could tell him to go home. He's like, fuck that, man. I'm going back out. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? He was hungry. And he brought them boys on. And I'm going to tell you, like people saying on some of the things I hear on the internet, it was only 350 Boys. That was Meech, Terry, and Derek. Okay? You know, now Terry, all of them might have had some guys that dealt with, but they wasn't 50 Boys. It was only at that dinner table on Sunday, it was us 4. Nobody else.
And like, I know you said you took a liking to Meech. Like, the world now, we see the type of personality, the partying, the shining, and the diamonds and all that stuff to the world now that Big Meech. Did you see that early in him then, like being flamboyant and flossy and stuff like that back then?
Not right off. No, not right off. The more money he was getting, you know, of course, you know what I'm saying? The more money you get, you know how that shit go. The more money you get, the more you're going to get comfortable with it, and you're going to start acting a different way. It was a situation that I got those guys with some meat coat, and they was on Saliette with ropes and meat coats doing their thing. And, you know, I pulled up And first, they could tell the way I was looking that they was fucking up. So Meech came over to the car, he said, man, I know what you finna say. I said, yeah, you know what I'm finna say. Y'all need to go get that shit off, man. Take that shit off, man. What do you think you doing, man? Like I said, they respected what I did, because I took care of them. They did what I said.
Yeah. So they was outside hustling. This was at nighttime or during the daytime?
Man, daytime. It was during the daytime. But if I wouldn't have said nothing, they would have been up there all night like that.
Yeah. Would you equate to either one of them having more of a demeanor like you, or like as far as would you say T, since T was kind of more of the low key one, not the flashy one? Would you say he got that more from you? Because I have seen letters or whatever where T said if they had any type of creative control with the series and everything that's supposed to come out, that they would want it to start with you. Like, would you be opposed to not necessarily signing off your likeness or being a part of that if it was to come up?
Yeah, of course. I wouldn't, because you know what? It's like you have to start from the beginning of how they started, because it was 50 Boys before it was BMF. And if they wouldn't have learned, my opinion, if they wouldn't have learned what they learned through being 50 Boys, I don't think they would have been big as they turned out to be. Okay, and you was introduced to the game by me. Okay, just like everybody, just like the incident I said earlier, I groomed them to be bosses. Okay, just like I want to boss up and lead Bear. That's the same situation, man. You eat your wings and you say, like, fuck this, I'm going to do this and do that. When they made that move, hey, man, I gave them my blessing. You know what I'm saying? They called me. They said, look, man, we need to talk, okay? I said, okay, meet me on Ethel. We talked, and they mentioned, some things, and I'm going to be honest, some of the things they mentioned, I wasn't down with it. We came to the conclusion. He said, well, will you have a problem if we went off on our own? I said, no, hell no, I wouldn't have a problem, man. Y'all men, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop you from groomed you to be a boss. You're not going to be with me forever under my wings. And, and you definitely ain't going to hurt nothing. The shit going to go on, because it was like it was before you came, and it's going to be, actually, it got better. And I ain't going to say it got better, because it was a big part of my portfolio, because that gimmick, I brought it into that situation. So they was a big part of that. So, but they had my blessings on that. Like Derek said, when I heard his thing, we was family, man.
So ultimately, like in hindsight, looking back at that era, how would you say that ED actually impacted your life?
Well, ED has a great influence on my life, because like I was already dressed tonight, but he showed me how to dress more like older. We was getting the gators and lizards and all that, taking us to the concerts, taking us out to eat. Every Sunday we had like a structured family. Every Sunday we would go out and eat. Or every concert we would go to the concerts together. We were just one big family, man. That's all, we all had the same heart.
Okay, you can't get mad at family if they want to do their thing. What you gonna do? You can't get mad at them. Just give them blessings, advice, how to move on, and what to do and what to watch for, and all this.
You mentioned a family member of yours named Kilo that unfortunately got killed, passed away. Was that something during that time? Is that what made you slowly start wanting to get up out of the game and also try to, get the rest of your family not to get in the game?
That was, yes, definitely a big part of it. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. It was an incident. I believe this incident was one of the major parts, man. I was on 7 Mile, and I think it was the Halen and one of them streets, man. It was I was in the car with a friend, okay, and I was on the passenger side. So we waiting to see somebody, okay, and you know what I mean, to see somebody. We on the dark street, so I didn't like the whole situation. I said, man, why the fuck he got us meeting them here. But it came from a good source that this person that I was meeting was straight up, and I wouldn't have no problem. But anyway, so we sitting on off of 7 Mile or whatever. I'm not sure what street it was. Like I say, it was the Halen, whatever. So I look in the the mirror, on the side mirror on my side, right? So I see somebody coming up with a motherfucking coat, and he came up, he started blasting. So I'm talking about, I had buckshot from my neck all the way down to my arm to my hand, because he had a 12 gauge or sort of whatever. If I didn't see him and he would have got closer, I would have been dead, man. Flat out. So that's something you gonna go through. This is what I'm saying. Motherfuckers gonna try you. They gonna try you. I don't care. Some motherfuckers is just crazy. Don't care about the respect that you got or who you are. That you gonna get tried. That was one. My house got shot up. That was another. It's just so many things that led up to this. And I was like, you know, man, I had fun, man. I done traveled to places people dreamed about going. I wore the tailor-made clothes, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't let nobody see me in cashmere coats, a Bossellini hat. I mean, I stayed like that, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I ate it at five-star restaurants that people never ever went to. So, you know, I spent a lot of money, and I'm glad I got the chance to do it. So, yeah, I said, you know what? It's time to wean myself out this shit, because I didn't want that life. I didn't even want to end up like that. So I casually just weaned myself out there. And after that, I've been working to this day, man, for almost 20 years, man, 25 years. I'm about to retire in about 2-3 years, man. So it's a time for everything, man. Everything, it has its actions. It always has its consequences. And I just wasn't down with it, you know, because, you know, we come, like I said, we come from an educated family. I have 2 beautiful daughters, Courtney and Moot. And Courtney blessed me with a grandson, Demond. My daughter Moot blessed me with my granddaughter Kamaya. I got nephews, you know, Dre and Angelo. Both of them was at Michigan State. Dre left Michigan State to go to Oakland University. So, I mean, and all the people that I just mentioned, Dre and Angelo, they in college and they still got 2 and 3 jobs. Okay, my daughters, they've been working for the last 15 years, 10, 15 years or more with good jobs. But, you know, they want to be entrepreneurs too. You know, they got an edible thing going out called Highly Flavored. So people patronize that. It's just a lot that led up to that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that I got a transition out of that I was safe, because you're going to either get killed, get that toe tag. You're going to either get that toe tag or you gonna sit down. You know what I'm saying? I think I am one of the 5%ers who I don't even want to say it was luck. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I came close, you know, like I said, I came close to death. I've been all that, harassed and all that by the police. So I mean, that takes toll on a person, and you want to move on, man.
Yeah, that's real. I'm glad that that you were able to see the things that you seen before, you know, the inevitable came, and that you made that transition. Like during that time, during your height, did you like have any investments like during that time, like in other businesses or anything? I heard that's like you had a limo service and all different type of stuff like that as well.
Yes, I had a limousine service, TCI limousine. Actually, I had a partner. It was me and a partner with that. And one thing didn't have to do with another. You know, I had a couple of rental properties as well. I had an investment in a couple of car washes, one on the east side and one on the west side. I'm gonna say this too as well. Like I treated, just going back to Meech and Terry Fry's, them 50 boys. They did not miss a concert that they went to in limos with backstage pass. So I'm saying I treated them well. I treated them very well. And it was ventures that I dove into, you know, like it was this, I wanted to start up a luxury rental car place, renting Maserati, Porsches, Benzes and all that. And I almost went to happening, but a guy that I was dealing with, he ended up on something that's entirely different. And so nothing had to do with me and what I was doing. He did some Fed time, and that blew through. But my business didn't have nothing to do with what I was doing out there, man.
I did want to ask you about, like back then during that time, you said, you know, getting harassed by the police, the jealousy and different things like that. Like, I wouldn't even say at your height, but just during your run, was there like a lot of people trying to like snitch on you? Was it a lot of snitching going on back during that time?
Of course, I can't say 100% nobody was snitching, because I'm sure they was, because it's always gonna be. It was point that we went to places and set up shop, and my motherfuckers was just snitching to get rid of us. You know what I'm saying? But and I'm gonna go far back in New York. It was different in Detroit. You got motherfuckers snitching, and then they come around like ain't shit happening. That's something that I understand. Like they thought snitching was something on the norm. I don't know. I think, but in New York, they ain't play that shit. People got dealt with on that type of thing, man. It was just something that really didn't happen. So I'm sure it was snitches involved, and it's always gonna be. And that's another. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's another thing you got to deal with. You can't trust no motherfucking body. Who you trust yourself. You trust your instincts. You know what I'm saying? Because you got motherfuckers that's gonna hate on you. I'm talking about they gonna hate on you to the point, man. Yeah, they do anything to get rid of you and get what you want.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that up because, like you said, you want people to see both sides of the game. That of course you make the money and stuff like that, but it's a whole nother side to it. Like if it was someone. Yeah.
Most definitely, it's a side, and you gonna deal with that damn side, man. Ain't no way around it, Doc. Ain't no way around that shit. You gonna deal with it. I'm gonna tell you. The reason why motherfuckers thought I didn't, catch cases and all that shit. Why because I didn't go out there blasting, because motherfuckers. If I didn't go, damn man, motherfucker, came in, ran up on me. If you seen it, you seen it. If you didn't see it, you didn't see it. I caught a couple of cases and shit. That's when you got to spend damn near your money on lawyering up. You know what I'm saying? It's shit you got to deal with, man. I'm going to say this, man, and I don't care how many times I say it during this interview, man. It's nothing that you want to get into. I was young. This happened 30 plus years ago. And I was just I was so surrounded by it. And I was just seeing stacks, I was just seeing money everywhere. I just wanted a part of it. You understand? So, and then it's other options. And like I had options. And my mother made sure of that. Like I went to school after I graduated. I went to like a trade school or something. I forgot the name of it, but it was an air traffic controller school. And for all places, it was in Miami Beach. Damn. Are you serious? So I was there for 6 months. I met people there. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, my mom, it's like she can't win for losing. God damn. Everywhere. I'm like, that didn't pan out for me. I came home and I tried to do that, but it didn't work out. And I was, hungry, man. I wanted more than what my mother gave me.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy. That's funny, but crazy. Say go down there to do that in Miami.
Yeah.
I know you said like the overall lesson that you want people to hear. Like if it was someone that was listening to this right now that was even in it or thinking about getting in it, would it be any type of advice that you would give to them?
No, I would tell them, my man, look, it's different avenues, man, especially now, because the game now, oh man, it's nothing like the game back then. I'm saying it's just something that you don't want to do. It's short money. You understand what I'm saying? It's short money. What you see, these motherfuckers out there with their shit on, their bling bling, whatever, but you don't see the bad part. They're going to always show you the good part.
Right.
But there is a bad part to that, man. It's short money. None of my people are afraid to work. Everybody got jobs and maybe 2 or 3 jobs. My nephew, CJ, he working. He been working for years and stuff. My niece, Ebony, man, she got a great ass job. And she raised my two nephews. She raised them to the T, and she raised them being a single mom. And both of them was one is still at Michigan State. I'm gonna say it again. It was at Michigan State, and then the other one transferred to Oakland. So she's a great mom, and I'm proud of her. Like I'm proud of all of my family. I love my family. It's family first thing I think about, and I want them to see me. If I'm gone, let me go for natural causes. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me go in this game thing. I don't want my grandkids, Kamaya and Damon, know I went doing some shit that I wasn't supposed to. I don't want that for nobody in my family. So if you're thinking about that shit, I'm telling you now, you're going to end up toe tag, doing some motherfucking time that you're going to wish you was toe tag. It's just not. I was just one of those 5%ers, man, that got in there and got the fuck out.
Right. When you heard about Big Meech and Southwest T getting them 30 years, like how did you take that?
I wasn't happy, but I was sad for them because I didn't think they should have got that much time, man. Because it's motherfuckers, you know, that did violent crimes in that game and didn't get that much time. To this day, I don't feel that they should have got that much time. Like I said, I don't know 100% that BMF history. I just knew what I knew from Terry and Meech. It's just that I wasn't happy with that time because I don't think they should have got that much time. Man.
Well,
yeah, it is, man. It's ridiculous because, like I said, man, it's motherfuckers that did violent criminal crimes. I'm not criminal crimes. They did crimes that was violent. They did not do that much time. They made advantage out of them boys. The years that they got, I don't think they should have got it, man.
Yeah. Is there any last things that you want to put out there before we end up wrapping up this interview?
Yeah, I'm going to say this again, man. Young men, you young women, you guys, it's different avenues, you know. What I did happened 30 plus years ago, and it's not the same thing. Don't believe the hype, you know what I'm saying? And just keep your mind on, people don't think that school work. That school thing does work. You got to be dedicated to it. And just stick to it, man. The game ain't the game no more. You're going to deal with the shit that you're going to regret in the long run. That's a fact.
$20 million acting broke, nigga. All you niggas sleep, stay woke, nigga. All my niggas came up selling dope, nigga. Why the fuck you think they call us dope niggas?